To hear it, man. Welcome to everybody in the chat, everyone that's jumped in. I'm sorry the link was there late. I'm going to try to get these links up at least an hour before so you guys have it, so it's not all confusing. I know it's hard for people to find the show and
tell the people what's up. I made you delete everything. It was my fucking fault.
No, it's not.
Tell the people
right. We're not blaming anyone. But here's what I will say:
the producer fucked you over. That's what happened.
This no. You're fine. You're fine. This is nobody's fault here. But here's what I will say. Dude, this is probably the best main shot camera we've ever had. We have the hoop visible. We have the shoes visible underneath the table. You guys can see what we have on today. I am rocking the Jordan 1 Human Highlights from 2013. Dow Palantonio is rocking the acronym Prestos from early 2019?
Maybe.
Was it even late 2018?
I think it's 2018. The racer joints.
I'm going to have to... Was it late 2018? I have the same pair. I have that pink pair, and I have the white.
The white and yellow, or solar yellow, or whatever. Solar.
What was the other colorway?
It was like the Raiders colorway. It was
That's
like
right.
the charcoal black.
That's right.
I couldn't wear them because of the Raiders.
Late 2018, 9/20.
Yeah, man, 2018.
Got me.
I thought.
Kirby in the chat. Click that like button, y'all. Yes, everybody, please click the like button.
Yeah. Take
a second to do that. My aunt is up in here. Hello, Aunt Berta. How you doing?
Aunt Berta.
AP, John King. Juro Style up in here. Daniel, what's going on, bro? Everything looks and sounds good. Welcome back, boys.
We are back.
No doubt, man. Thank you. Thank you. Missed the show on Monday, and we had tons of topics to talk to. I mean, there was so much MMA on Monday. We were going to have like a crazy MMA show. We'll still talk MMA today, but obviously we want to keep shit fresh for you guys. There's a lot of other stuff that's gone on this week as the week's almost over now.
Way more relevant.
The market. Let me just start there. Holy shit, the market is getting killed. My money the other day, I was like, shit, this is the most money I've ever made. Shit was going through the roof. And luckily I had the wherewithal to sell out of some shares. I did stay in some stuff just because I like to have a little bit of skin in the game. I don't know if that's wise or not. I think it is, considering the prices that I got the stuff that I have at, but holy shit. If you're in the stock market today, I don't care what you have, you're taking a beating. I mean, red. Everything's red. Apple.
Wow.
I mean, Apple, a company that's I would say a pillar company,
or a staple.
A staple, yeah, a tech stock that you always want to have a little bit of a stake in. These guys are down $13.78 right now. About an hour to go left in the trading day. In today's session. Tesla down $46 today. Now, they hit 1,000 for the first time
they went over 1,000,
or 2 days ago. Yeah, they were
yesterday.
over. They've shot way past 1,000 too. They were like 120, 121. Wow. You and I were kind of talking about it, and now this is a buyer's market, bro. This is, if you are someone that's been sitting on the sidelines, I think we're going to have probably another down day tomorrow. I think there's a lot of panic going on. I think a lot of people are panic selling. We don't know what's going to go on with COVID-19. We're talking about a second wave of COVID. You're telling me, dude, these other states are getting hit hard. They're having huge increases in COVID cases.
Dude, Texas, Arizona, Florida, some of these places that obviously opened up a little, maybe even premature, right? Again, every state has to open. We got to get this shit going. There's no doubt. But is there a right time and right place? Well, those states happen to be the ones that kind of, were the scapegoats and had to do this early. And, man, they're getting hammered, dude, especially Texas and Arizona. So, scary stuff.
You're not really crazy in the stock market, but Black Prez, is this live? Yes, it's live, bro.
Hell yeah!
We are...
Tell Black Prez to get the sleep out of his eyes. That fool it's 4 a.m. over there.
We'll do it live!
Actually, I don't know what time it is, but I'm sure it's weird.
I don't know what time it is.
Black Prez.
Yo.
Black Prez.
Had to find my Black Prez drop. Yes, the show's live, but no, I was going to say, you're someone that's you have a little bit in the stock market, not a ton going on. It looks like people are really scared about this second wave of COVID. Are you scared about the second wave? Not necessarily from a stock market perspective, but just in general, life. You scared of this shit crippling everything again? Us going back into lockdown?
Right. Well, I don't know about lockdown. I mean, there could be something, but second wave is happening. Second wave is only going to get worse, no doubt about it, like nationwide. I think Colorado's doing pretty well. You just actually saw a source today and like something. What were the numbers on that?
What's that?
About the hospital beds not being used.
Here in Colorado.
We have the whole Colorado Convention Center opened, ready to go, taking patients, and we haven't even used it.
Yeah. I saw this chart last night, and there's all these red the red states, not political, but red, they marked these states with red that were just blowing up with COVID cases.
Right.
And it was all around us, dude, not Colorado.
All of our neighboring states.
But yeah, everyone around us is starting to especially to the south of us, really blowing up with COVID cases. And I saw this article, and I saw on the news last night. They have a field hospital, essentially, that they built here in Colorado for COVID-19, and they have not treated one patient at this field hospital, and the state is wasting $60,000 per day just to keep this thing up and going, and no one's being treated. Not one person has been treated, and they're just wasting money every single day. So there's some people that are like, what the hell's going on? Let's get the state back open. Let's stop wasting this money. And then there's other people like, let's chill out. We got a plan in place because we're going to see a second wave. We're going to see a spike, and they're going to need this. So I don't know what to say. I don't know should our state be wasting $60,000 a day on nothing in preparation for something that could be something or something that could be nothing? I don't know. It's hard telling.
That's a tough one to weigh out, man, for sure.
Right.
But obviously a second wave is going to happen, and I think in Colorado the wave that we've seen is the care homes are still being obviously
nursing homes,
the nursing home, care homes, whatever you want to call them.
Care homes.
I thought it's care homes. I guess nursing home is the more proper term.
Care homes.
It's care homes. We care.
That's Pat Mahomes' cousin. Care homes.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt. But second waves are happening. There's no doubt about it. But I think Colorado is doing pretty well. I think we were onto the mask scene pretty well as a state. And I say that loosely because you have your assholes out there that don't care about anybody except themselves. And they're like, I'm not wearing, it's my God-given right to not wear a mask and fuck you. But, I think we've been pretty disciplined with that. Not that that saved us or not, but we have to figure out a way to live life through this.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just keep shutting down. Like, it's not good for the economy. It's not good for people's mental states. It's not good for the spousal abuse, the kids abuse. Like, this shit is rampant, dude.
Are you saying you're getting abused?
I'm getting abused by Robin, man.
You?
From the aspect of making me do a lot of shit at the house. I've had my honey-do list run pretty deep these days.
Right.
But I got some good info, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. The job hunt is done. And we'll kind of go into that. But the second wave of COVID, man, it's happening. And I think really we just have to figure out a way to live through it and not re-shut down everything. I just don't see a full shutdown again happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you worry about the fall as well. Obviously, COVID lives a lot better from what they know, and these things are changing. I don't know if did you see what WHO said lately? And then they had to come out with a whole another press conference and retract that?
Yeah.
Like, that's stupid. And then the CDC...
Fill the people in if they're unfamiliar.
Yeah, so WHO recently came up, which is the health organization,
World
right?
Health Organization.
And they recently came out, I guess this was about 5 or 6 days ago, and they said, well, what our findings now is, if you're asymptomatic cases, it doesn't seem like they're transferring the COVID like we initially thought. As a matter of fact, it's very rare to transfer it when you're asymptomatic.
Which would be great news.
Yeah, that'd be great news.
If that was legit, if we knew that we could trust that information, that would be great news for the country. It'd be great news for a lot of people that are trying to get back to work, because as long as you're not showing symptoms, your nose ain't running, ain't coughing all over everybody, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
Even if you have it, even if you have the antibodies, you're okay.
We've eliminated part of the silent killer, if that's the case. Right? I think that's awesome. Well, less than 24 hours later, they had another press conference that basically said, well, hey, these were the findings. This isn't necessarily true. So they had to retract that statement. That's a big, big statement, dude. So in a time where, this is new to all of us, and it's new to these, what is it, entomologists, the people who study like cells and all that.
Yeah.
Doctors, whatever,
right.
Something like that. And it's new to everybody, and I think that's what's crazy. But, like, to be able to say a bold statement like that, and the type of organization that you are, and the amount of eyes that you have looking for answers, you got to watch what you say. And then a day after that, the CDC comes out and says, well, based off of our findings, we're seeing that this really isn't, it's really not being transmitted to the outside world through surfaces. That's another bold statement, too, because we remember, like, 2 months ago, Like, we were wiping down surfaces in the bathroom. Don't touch the sink. Don't touch the faucets. You know, really taking care of that and washing the hands after every single thing. I was guilty of it. And by guilty, I just mean I was following orders.
Right.
I was following what they said. And now they're like, the CDC says, surfaces, it's not really probably going to live on surfaces too much. And again, they're like, that's based off the findings that we have currently right now. And I just think, God, man, just every day is a roller coaster in terms of what is real and what's not. And then the moment you think that you're doing something right, you're doing something wrong. It's just a weird time that we're living in.
Completely agree.
You know?
People in the chat. Peter Lee, what up, bro? He actually hit us with a couple super chats, $2 each. He says, hi, Dallin Franchise. Market is down 1,600 points. And also, we should not be worried about a second wave.
Oh.
From Peter.
Oh, Peter Lee.
Peter and I were talking some stock stuff. We were talking some sneaker stuff. He is heavily invested in sneakers. I think we're going to have Peter on. We're going to try to have him on within the next couple shows, just talking about how much he has spent on sneakers within the last few months and where that market value has gone. I think it's very, very interesting.
Sure.
We've talked about so many pairs of sneakers just jumping up. Jordan 1s especially, just going through the moon.
Yeah.
So I think we want to get him on and kind of talk a little bit of sneaker investing and maybe where to put your money if you're looking to buy sneakers and hold on to sneakers or use them as more of an investment in addition to your collecting or anything like that. So thank you for the super chats, Peter. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey,
Appreciate
are you shooting?
What?
Are you shooting the ball this time?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, first shot, man. Let me give a symbol. Let me see if it sounds better to our people than we were doing Zoom chat. So I guess we'll do a dual symbol here. Hopefully that sounds sick.
I think it sounds great. I think it sounds way better than I was hearing on the Zoom.
Well, you're in the room with me, so I'm sure it does sound great.
I'm in the room, not on the Zoom.
And it looks like nice.
Are you ready?
Come on, get it in there. I got the main shot. We're ready. We got proof.
Hey,
Ooh.
let's go. There we go. Throwing it down. One shot, one kill. What's the deal? First shot. If we didn't make the first shot back, I would probably just disconnect this whole thing.
Yeah.
Push the mic up to the ceiling
We're
and
out of
walk
here.
out.
Let's go get lunch.
Turn the lights off. I wouldn't even stop the stream. You guys would just be sitting here in a dark room by yourselves, just watching the show.
Just as long as you don't cross the stream.
Nice.
How about new?
What else here in the chat? All news outlets trying to scare people just like they did 2 months ago. When people are scared, we should invest. That's kind of what we were talking about a couple shows ago.
Right.
Peter Lee, Nicola opened at $93 a couple days ago. I know, it was crazy. Remember I was telling you it was just through the moon.
You were putting me on game and I just didn't listen.
Well, I had got it at 20, I want to say 21, somewhere between 21 and 24 a share.
So you were later, but still good.
Yeah. I mean,
For what it did.
Thomas Yee got it 13 or 14 when he threw that stock tip out on the show over here. So he said it opened at $93 a couple days ago. I didn't sell it. Went down to 59, and I was pissed at myself. Came back up and sold at 86. Now it's around 62. I sold out. I had 188 shares, dude. I was pretty heavy on that company.
You're balling.
188 shares in there. Shot up from where I got it in the 20s to low 90s. I, like you, did not sell until it went down. It dropped down to about, I think, 75, 77. Okay. I sold out 138 shares. So I still have 50.
Out of your 80, whatever it was. 80.
So I'm still sitting there with 50 shares. Nothing crazy. That way the damage can't really hurt me too bad.
For sure.
They're down almost $4 today right now. A little less than an hour left in the session.
So what are they sitting at then right now?
6103.
6103.
That's what I'm seeing
on
the ticker.
That's too high for you fools to buy in right now. That's just a little word from Dal who knows shit about the stock market.
That's too high. I don't know. It's interesting because Nicola was one of those, a lot of people were touting it as, this is going to be the next Tesla and all this stuff. It's very hard because they have not manufactured one vehicle yet. They start taking pre-orders on this Cybertruck, so-called Cybertruck. It's going to be a truck that's supposed to compete with Tesla's Cybertruck that they're dropping. You remember that whole thing, was it end of last year or earlier this year, where Elon Musk threw the thing at the window and it cracked the window. It's supposed to be bulletproof glass, all that shit. So their truck is supposed to compete with this truck. And I don't know, I don't know if this is a bubble. I don't know where this thing's going to settle at. We'll see, man. But the market is in the toilet right now. Sure. And I think that this is the time. I don't know if it's the time to buy today. I don't know if it's the time to buy tomorrow because I think we might have another dip tomorrow. But with these dips, man, I was looking at a lot of these stocks over the past 2, 3, 4 weeks, and I was like looking back to mid-March when Corona first hit hard and everything just took a crazy dip. And I was like, man, if we could go back to those days, it feels like we're on our way back to those days. It feels like we're on our way back to seeing these. I don't know if we're going to see those dips, but we're seeing a lot of dips and a lot of big companies that are going to make a comeback. They're going to be there, and just get in on them a little bit here and there, and don't stress yourself out. You don't need to watch them every day, every hour like I'm doing. You don't have to do any of that. Just get in these companies, hold on to them for a while, especially, like I said, your Apples, your Teslas. Those companies are going to be there, dude. They're not going to go anywhere. Even the airlines. Airlines are taking a beating right now. A lot of people, including me, made some good money on the airlines, getting in low. And as they increased, and I sold all my airline shares the other day. I don't have one airline share left. I was like, let me just take my profits and get the hell out of here for a little while until I see some movement in the airlines. So that's kind of what I'm recommending. John King, watch the unemployment numbers. I think that's another thing that that was kind of a lot of experts that I watched on the stock channel too were like, I don't understand why this market's going so crazy. We still have 70 million people unemployed or whatever it is. You know, we still have insane amount of unemployed people in this country, and that stimulus bonus and stuff is supposed to run out. All the people getting unemployment are getting a bonus, which if you're on unemployment, you know about, and that's going to run out in July. So once that runs out, then we're really going to start seeing the recession. A lot of people are like, well, it's not a recession. Everything's okay. Everything's doing fine. We haven't even seen the fallout. Everyone's still getting unemployment and this bonus unemployment. Once that stops, there's a lot of people are like, yeah, fuck it. I don't even want to go back to work right now. I don't even care about going back to work. Well, once that ends, then it's going to be a mad scramble. Everyone's going to be clawing for jobs. You're going to have all these people going for a limited amount of jobs at one time, and there's going to be a lot of people that are shut out. Yeah. And then we're going to start seeing problems. Then we're going to start seeing recession. And I don't want to see that happen I don't want to see that happen to people I love and people I care about. But at the same time, in a selfish way, as a guy that's looking to buy a house and our market prices here in Colorado are just stupid, I would like to see the housing market dip a little bit so maybe I can get into a crib with some of this money I'm making in the stock market, or I've made in the stock market of, pulling out, selling shares.
Reinvesting.
Yeah, I would like to take that and be able to buy a crib, whether that's here. We've talked about Vegas or Nevada, moving out there. There's a lot, man. There's a lot to it, but it's going to be interesting. It's not even close to over. I would argue it hasn't even really begun. You're about to see some crazy fallout from all this stuff the rest of this year and into 2021. It's going to get pretty ugly. That's what I think. I think it's just the amount of jobs there will be versus the amount of people looking for jobs, and now forced that didn't. Hopefully people are saving this unemployment money as much as they can, or these bonus, this stimulus money they're getting.
Yeah, the extra state money that you're getting right now.
Yeah, because you're getting here in Colorado, we're getting extra $600 per week. If you're on unemployment, you get a 2-week check. You get $1,200 there plus the unemployment money.
Wow.
I know. So people are really raking. Hopefully you fools ain't on Amazon.
Part of me says I wish I could have capitalized on that, but I left the job willingly. I couldn't collect unemployment, unfortunately.
Right. So there's a lot, man. There's a lot to think about. Let's see. Peter Lee, 21 people watching, only 7 likes. Love your shoes today. Thank you, bro. Another $2 in the super chat. My man.
He must be talking about mine.
Thank you, bro.
Mine are Flames. Here, I gotta get the ball.
Yeah, whose shoes? Maybe he just said love your shoes, bro. You think he's only talking about your shoes? You don't think he likes these? You don't think he likes the highlight reels, bro? The human highlight reels?
Nah, he likes Dow wearing pink. That's what it is.
All right,
man. All right. So you got the first shot off. So I think we're good, man. So if I miss this, we'll chalk it up to COVID.
Okay, making excuses already. Oh, he rims out.
Damn it.
It's all right, Dal.
No
big deal, bro.
Thank you for your support. Oh, check it out. Black Prez actually asked me a question. He says, maybe you already said it, but Dow, how do you feel about being back in the studio and people around you? Are you nervous, scared, uncomfortable? Hopefully I read that right, Black Prez. Yeah, I mean, I'm still a little nervous, obviously. The first day back in the studio was, Monday when we were trying to get this whole thing worked out? The internet, we couldn't get worked out. Tuesday, we couldn't get the internet worked out. Yeah, I think Monday was a reality check, kind of looking at people wearing masks. And then I kind of stereotype people that weren't wearing masks. And in my head, I'm thinking, what the hell's wrong with you? Why aren't you wearing a mask? Don't you know the rules? Are you not scared? Are you an asshole? What's going on?
Were you you never told me anything. Well, you didn't say, hey, franchise, put your mask on, but were you stereotyping me secretly?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, because I didn't. I was just rolling around.
I was trying to analyze you like the Terminator does. Like, I wish I could have read your body temperature and like your eyes and all that shit. But no, man, it's a little nerve-wracking, but also it's exciting to also get back into the world. It's not exciting that I might get COVID, but I'm wearing a mask when I can. And I think, like I said, they used to talk about the viral load. I think with just franchising in here, I mean, I'm not too concerned necessarily. Of course, I can't control where franchise goes or whatnot, but I know he wears a mask when he's in public for the most part. So
going to any stores or anything like that, I'm masked up.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to get going. And as a matter of fact, I think this is the perfect segue into it. Your boy got a job.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Dal Palantonio got a job.
Your boy got a job.
Congrats, man.
So yeah, this week I've been doing a lot of paperwork. I've been doing a P test. I had to go to a nurse visit, dude. So I had to have my hearing checked, my vision checked. I had to drop the couple ounces of P. And obviously everything came back. But I will be working for Murphy Creek Golf Course, which is my home golf course. That is the golf course that my boy Muzz and I used to frequent like 1 or 2 nights of twilight each week. I don't know a lot of people there, but I just made some calls and I said, hey, I want to work here. Who's the pro? Which the pro is who runs, obviously, the shop, the pro shop. And, I said, give me some names, give me some numbers, whatever. Found out that the pro there is Leslie. And I just dropped a line and I said, hey, my name is Dallas. I've got over 23 years of retail sales experience. I want to work for your golf course. I want to be that guy and get me on. So she's like, well, I'll take your information. We're on a hiring freeze. This was like 4 weeks ago, maybe even 5 weeks ago. We're on a hiring freeze. I don't know when that's going to be lifted, but I'll keep your information. I'm like, shit, this is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, right. The typical like, oh, yeah, we'll keep you on file. Hey, we'll give you a call when we have some info.
So, it was about 3 weeks after that. So that puts us a month and a half ago. 3 weeks later, she calls me and says, hey, I still have your info. I still want you to know that, I'm still thinking about you, but we still have the current hiring freeze. But I just want you to know, hey, you're a great candidate. It sounds like you got a great experience. I'd love to have you. Chalk back to a week and a half ago. She calls back and she says, hey, hiring freeze ended yesterday. Sorry I didn't call you yesterday. I was on my way home from Oklahoma City visiting family, but I told you I'd call you. Can you come in today? So I went in, met with her, had a great conversation, told her kind of, a little bit of my background, but it was very informal. It was really weird. As we were doing this interview, they had a bunch of people coming in and like disrupting our
While you're sitting down at the thing?
Yeah. Huh. Just disrupting us, like asking questions like, hey, would you guys like to sponsor this golf tournament? And then you had the superintendent, which is the head of maintenance of the actual golf course, saying, hey, we have this problem. What would you like to do? She's answering questions. She's multitasking. I'm like, damn, is this even serious? Am I just wasting my time here? And at the end of it, she's like, well, it doesn't pay much. It's more of like a college kid job or like a, in high school kid job, right? So it pays $14 an hour. It's not great, but you have massive discounts on the pro shop, massive discounts on the food and beverage that they offer at the golf course. And you also have massive discounts on the merch, the golf clubs, all the outerwear, innerwear that you can think of. And of course, it's free golf.
You get discount, like you're saying, discounts on the food that's there, for lunch. Oh, I know you're going to be taking advantage of that.
Oh, dude.
I've been packing lunch the past couple of days in here. You are not you pack a lunch kind of guy. You go eat out, you grab food when you can.
Yeah.
That's your type of thing. So you need the massive discounts over there. Even though your blood pressure was high.
Yes. Dude, this is twice. So when I got the wisdom teeth out,
and of course you're freaking out.
Of course, yeah. When I got the wisdom teeth out, they checked my blood pressure. They're like, "Wow, sir, it looks like you're running a little high." I said, "Yeah, I'm about to get fucking put under to get my wisdom teeth out. I'm probably am pretty high." Well, this time I was a little nervous because I'm dropping pee. I'm doing all these different things, right? Getting checked out, and that's a nerve-wracking process. And she's like, "You're running a little high. I'm not really worried about it based off your age, but this is 2 high tests that I've had now in a row. It's concerning, but I think, you just need to really start, the saturated fats and the salts that are in a lot of the preserved goods. I think you really need to start watching out for that and then working out a little bit, whether it's a run, whether it's playing some tennis, just being active. I think those are 2 things that I can control right now and start obviously making better right now. And we'll see what that next test looks like. But anyways, with the golf stuff, just to wrap that up, she gave me a verbal offer, which didn't really feel like an offer because there were so many contingencies, right? If you pass this and you do this and all. So, and it's weird because this golf course isn't in charge of the hiring process. I actually work for the city of Aurora, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm having to go to the city building, which is just a hop, skip, and jump away from the studio here, which has been convenient being here and there. And I actually get hired by the city of Aurora, which is different, and then I go actually work for the place that I applied for. So kind of a different process because working for T-Mobile, right, we kind of control our own hiring right within, and then they go to like a training class.
That's everything, yeah.
Yeah, right? So it's been a little different, but hell, it's been a great experience, man, and I've really enjoyed it.
That's what I was confused at, too. I asked you, I was like, dude, you're getting a P test for the golf course? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. And you're like, oh, dude, it's the city. Like, I'm working for the city of Aurora, which is actually ends up being a pretty good thing because you're getting in. We just talked about jobs and people being able to get jobs back. You're getting in. Who cares if it's a low-level position?
Right.
You may be able to, especially with the kind of guy you are, the networking kind of guy you are, the way you can communicate and talk to people, you may be able to take that job and leverage that with be able to move up that ladder, start working for the city. Who knows where you'll be in a couple years? You may be in a job where it's paying you really good money. You're working for the city with really good benefits, and you're doing something you enjoy. You're maybe cruising around. You're maintaining other golf courses. You're doing something else. You're telling other people what to do. Who knows?
For sure.
I think that's awesome.
Well, and I think, with the benefits that you get with it, the free golf, the discounts, doing something that I want to do. I'm not saying $14 an hour is great. That's not something to rave home about. Like, I'm going to have to work a shitload of hours if they allow me to do that to really actually make some income. But number one, I'm doing something I like. And I'm a part of something that I love. And I'm getting something very, very big out of it to where it's going to keep me active. I'm going to get out and golf more. I might play 2 holes before my shift. Right. I may play 9 after my shift. But I think
that's the dope shit.
The benefits just really outweigh anything that I could think of negative, and the negative is really the low pay. That being said, I think just like you said, I'm trying to go up the ranks. If there's an open position, if there's this, if there's that, I'm going to work my ass off. And I'm going to make things happen. You know what I mean? And I have all the faith in the world in me on that. And I think
I do too.
If you got to start low sometimes. And this is the first time I've had to do that in 15 years, 20 years maybe.
But it's a completely different industry. It's something you've never been into. But dude, this is something that you've been passionate about, golf, forever. I mean, ever since I've known you, you've been a big time golfer. You golf a ton, and it's something you've been passionate about. You really enjoy that sport. Why wouldn't you enjoy working in the sport? I'm going to need to hook up at the pro shop, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to need, I got to get some new clubs.
I got to get you a sick used set or something.
Right, yeah.
Get you a discount on.
I'm not saying get fired. I'm just saying holler at the kid. Hey, dude, someone just returned these. They're on a crazy deal, crazy discount. I'm not saying it's going to make me any better, but I'm saying, hey, we can all dream.
Help your boy out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if I get really good, man, I told you I'm taking you on tour. And you don't have to know a lot of stuff. I kind of explain the ins and outs. They give you like this greens book and shows you kind of the undulation of the actual greens and fairways. I said, man, let's just golf a little bit. All you have to do is just know my game. You just have to know my strengths and weaknesses. And I'll take you on tour with me.
How I don't know, like how realistic? I mean, you have to golf a ton. Right. Yeah. To be able to make it to even the amateur tour. Oh, yeah. You got to be able to golf. You have to do a crazy amount of golf.
You have to have no job. You have to have like money to pay these trainers,
right?
Swing coaches. I mean, you have to have like a team, dog. Like this is all serious. Like, sure, your natural ability definitely helps, but like you've got to put money. You've got to put money into this whole thing. And, I don't think it could ever happen. But, like, maybe winning a couple scramble tournaments, maybe, some things like that would be obviously a goal here. But I'd never make it to tour. Never. Never, bro.
Jason Ramirez, how does Robin feel about the job now?
You know what?
Good question.
She's happy for me. She really, really is. She's pumped. She doesn't like the 14 an hour as well, like because we at what we've been doing with retail and sales and commissions, in the past, we've been paid very, very well in the past. So that's a little eerie and a little weird. Almost like a red flag for her, but she sees my happiness with golf. She knows that I miss work. She knows that I don't like to be trapped at the house. She knows most underrated isn't making us a lot of money, obviously, to live on. But as we get back in here, put out some shirts, get our shirts that we already have printed, shipped out, that'll help, and we can grow this business. But I just for an identity. I think she knows how important that is to me. But I think the one downfall is she's going to miss me having me around doing the honeydew lists. You know what I mean? So I've got to get those sprinkler system finalized. And then I think we're going to do sod is kind of our plan on that. But shit, man, summer's going to be over here soon. But, I think she's really happy for me, and she's happy to see me do something that I really want to do.
Do you, she's working from home. You've been home. Is she happy or sad that you're going to be out of the house more? Besides the honeydew list, just in general, having you around, is that a good thing? She's like, oh my God, finally. And get a little freedom, or is she like, oh, this is going to be the worst?
I think, I think we both want our freedoms a little bit. And obviously me not working in there and her working, I'm trying to stay out of her way. I'm trying to not make noise. She's on a lot of conference calls because of the COVID and because of the hiring freezes and all these things that a lot of companies are going through. So I'm never trying to distract, but because of that, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells at the house. You know what I mean? And that's no fun. But it also, in her mind, she takes it like I'm ignoring her. Well, fuck yeah, I'm ignoring you. You're working. She's like, well, just, give me a little pat on the ass. Give me a little shoulder rub. Like, I'm like, well, you're working. I don't know when the right time is. So a lot of that confusion and those ups and downs of like, what is she thinking? What am I thinking? Does she think I'm busy? Does she think I'm just jacking off in the room?
Right.
Like, what does she think that I'm doing?
That can cause a little rift.
It has caused some rifts. So I think that is going to be nice to kind of not have that cloud hanging over our heads. But outside of that, it's nice. I mean, I've been eating at home. I've been eating pretty healthy. And I'll tell you what, being at home through wisdom teeth, because you got to keep things clean. You got to, you got to have certain foods, before you adjust to kind of the reality of what your diet is or could be or should be. A lot of those conveniences I'll miss. It's nice shitting at your own house.
Right.
Do you think I want to shit at Murphy Creek? Do you think I want to get COVID off the toilet? Not really. Not really.
Butt cheek COVID.
But the CDC says you can't get butt cheek COVID.
Yeah.
So I think we're good. But no, man, I think the dynamics are obviously going to shift. But I think getting back into the relationship with Rob and stuff, I think this is going to obviously create a new dynamic where I have to probably work harder than what I have been in the past in a whole different light. Like, after I've been working for, 6-7 hour day, maybe even an 8 hour day, I don't know how many hours they're going to give me here.
Yeah.
You come home and the last thing you want to do is have a heart-to-heart conversation and talk about your relationship. You want to disconnect. You want to just be like, God damn, babe, I was working all day. So I'm going to have to find a middle ground where I can be fair to us, be fair to her, and also have my time where I can disconnect from working, from the Most Underrated podcast, from always trying to get all this info. Yeah, I think I'll have to work harder. I really do, man. The dynamics are obviously going to shift and change quite a bit.
Right.
So,
if you missed the beginning of the cast, Dal is now producing the show, so he's adjusting to working on the cameras, stuff like that. So if you see a camera on one of us that's not talking for a little bit, Dal's controlling all this manually while trying to get his next thought together, because we're having for you guys in the convo while looking at his notes. It's a lot, man. It took me an adjustment just to get the sounds together, and I don't even think that's as much work as what you're doing. So I'm going to give you some applause for doing that. Thank you, man. Show. Appreciate it. T-Mobile, just checking in with the fam. Can't do the middays. I'll be catching up tonight. That brings me to a transition point before we really jump into the topics here today. The show, as far as the time slot, we don't know, man. We're gonna kind of play it by ear. You can follow us on social media at OMG It's TTF, at Dow Palantonio, at MUPcast on Twitter, at Most Underrated Podcast on IG. Follow the socials. Follow us on, if you don't like, you hate me, you watch for Dow, follow Dow. Do whatever you need to do because you can stay updated with what in the hell's going on with the show. Because I don't know what we've tried to keep it as consistent as we can over 150 plus episodes here, but I can't guarantee the consistency with Dow getting a new job, with me about to get a new job, hopefully here in a couple weeks. Stuff's going to be changing. We're going to be shifting and maneuvering through this shit, just like all of you guys. So that's what I would recommend, man. I don't know. I personally enjoy the middays. Yeah. I think my energy is best on the middays. I think, I enjoy waking up and getting out of the house early in the morning, having that purpose, feeling good, coming here to the studio. So I like the middays. Some people, it's going to be a mixed reaction. I didn't see a big difference in when we did the middays versus when we did the evenings.
Yeah.
You know, it was all pretty consistent. Maybe we got a little less live viewership in the evenings sometimes. Even.
Maybe.
And that's people with the fam and stuff like that. I mean, 5 o'clock our time, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. I get it. They're starting dinner and filling up the love tank and doing all that shit. But a lot of people like the middays because they're working and they can just pop the headphones in and do their job while they listen to us. So it's great. A lot of people don't like the middays because they're working and they can't pop the headphones in because they have a job that they just can't do that.
Conference calls, whatever.
Conference calls, working with customer, boss breathing down their neck, whatever the case may be. So I get it, man. It's just depends. Depends on the scenario.
I wonder what I'd be able to do at the golf course.
What do you mean? Oh, dude.
You think I can consume content at the golf course?
I feel like
Maybe with an AirPod in?
Yeah, I feel like it. I feel like I don't know, you said you'd be cooking food sometimes. You maybe be in the pro shop. You may be out on the course. Who knows? That's interesting. I'm excited to hear about that. I have to just get a job with you over there for $14 an hour.
I'll get you on.
Oh, yeah?
I'll get you on.
How fire would that be? We're just working together every day. Dude, casting together, working together. That'd be a lot.
Hey, you know what? That might help our content.
Right.
Like, I'd force you, you'd force me. That's how you got into the vlogs.
True.
It might work. I don't know. The only thing I know with this job, she didn't say a damn thing about the mullet. And for that, I am grateful.
She doesn't like, hey, you're going to cut that shit.
Go ahead and look at this, man. This shit is out of control.
Yeah, that's, here, stand up. All right. I don't know if you could stand up, but that's business in the front. Actually, I wouldn't even say it's business in the front. I think it's just all party. I was going to say party in the back, but the whole thing is just a party. The whole haircut is one big party.
Unbelievable.
And we already know Robin hates it.
Oh, Robin, dude. She keeps threatening to cut it, like when I'm asleep, like because I've got these barber shears.
Like you're 5.
Yeah, I'm
unbelievable.
So I finally had to say, I said, hey,
Will,
do you not love me anymore? Do you not love me anymore?
You're spinning it.
Stop talking about my mullet.
Spinning it back around on her.
Maybe tell me how nice my pecs are, because she definitely saw those last night. If you know what I mean.
Dude, people said, Dal, you got to switch the camera. We can't see a damn thing. Everyone said, switch cams. Switch cams. Dog, we saw none of that. My aunt, hey, I can see TTF.
I forgot.
Dallas.
I forgot to switch. Yeah, here, I just switched it. Here, let's try it.
Major L's.
I know.
Major L's.
Production L's.
It's going to take a minute, dude. First show. There we go. What do you guys think? There, he's whipping it. He's whipping his hair back and forth. No Willow Smith. Looks good.
No Lizzo.
No, she whips her hair back and forth too.
Doesn't she?
I don't know. I have no idea. Did you guys see that one?
Come on.
I saw it on the live feed. I know you guys saw it. Fire the producer. Danny B in the chat.
Fire the producer. Fire the lack of talent. Fire everybody.
That's funny. That's funny shit. Let's jump into the show here and hit on these topics.
Do it.
Let's just start with, dude, last night, the NASCAR race. Martin Truex, I mean, if you didn't make money, I don't know what you're doing. It was the easiest pick in the world. They're at Martinsville, and Martin Truex Jr. wins the race. You take Martin at Martinsville. It's just a given. That's what you do.
No-brainer.
No, I put a $5 bet in on Martin Truex Jr., $5 on Joey Logano, $5 on Kyle Busch. Obviously, I lost the 2 $5 bets on those two, but Martin Truex Jr. won. He won 30, so I netted 20.
Okay.
Not too bad, right?
Yeah,
off my $5 investment. $20 come up. That being said, NASCAR, the big news out of NASCAR is they have decided to ban the Confederate flag at the races. They're not allowing folks to bring it in, and they're not allowing they're not going to have it at any of the tracks or anything like that. And this has been a, I don't want to say a staple, but Confederate flag, I mean, this has been something in the South and something that's been a part of the sport for a long period of time, even though I remember Dale Earnhardt back in the day saying he wanted no part of it. Obviously, his son Dale Jr., they were trying to get this out. And, dude, how long has Dale Earnhardt been dead? I think he died in 99?
Maybe earlier, 98, 97?
No, I think
98.
Somewhere, I think it's 99.
Was it?
Someone looked that up in the chat. I think it's Dale. I think he died in 99. You can look it up. But, dude, he was going for that a long, long time ago. And if you want to see how far we are in this country, if you want to see how deep the racism goes and how far we are from everybody being on the same page, just go to the NASCAR website and look at the comments.
Jeez.
Just go to the NASCAR Twitter account and look at the comments.
I bet it's horrible.
Look at the racists. Just look at over a flag. I mean, over a flag, that means, what does it really mean to you? it can't mean much to you. Now, let me...
He died in 2001. Year I graduated high school, fool.
2001. Damn it, I was 2 years off.
2001.
You were going the other way on it.
Yeah. I was going earlier.
Right. So NASCAR puts out a statement about the Confederate flag, and here is that statement. The presence of the Confederate flag at NASCAR events runs contrary to our commitment to providing a welcoming and inclusive environment to all fans, our competitors, and the industry. Bringing people together around a love for racing and the community that it creates is what makes our fans and the sport special. The display of the Confederate flag will be prohibited from NASCAR events and properties. So that's the statement on NASCAR. Like I said, if you want to see racism, peep the Twitter account, peep the go to their website and peep the comments. It is chocked full of hate. And
I've got some interesting info on that, so check that out. So I don't know if you know NASCAR driver Ray Citriali?
I was getting to it.
Oh, gotcha. Dude, he announced that he's quitting because the NASCAR banned the Confederate flag. Now, if he does quit, he quits with a total of 0 wins in his career. He's got 32 races entered and a big fat goose egg. You're really going to hurt NASCAR, bro. Get the hell out of here.
In a Facebook post, Ray Citriali wrote the other day, well, it's been a fun ride and a dream come true, but if this is the direction NASCAR is headed, we will not participate after the 2020 season is over. I don't believe in kneeling during the anthem, nor taking people's right to fly whatever flag they love. I could care less about the Confederate flag, but there are people that do, and it doesn't make them racist. All you're doing is fucking one group to cater to another. So, like you said,
man,
Raymond, let's talk here. I don't believe this is why you're quitting NASCAR, Ray.
Right.
Just as Dallas just said, you've been racing for a while. You're 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You have a grand total of 0 wins, 0 poles. Haven't even got a pole. Haven't even qualified on the pole at a race. And you have 1 top 10 finish in your career, Ray. And this is why you're quitting? Yeah. Doubt it. You're probably quitting because your sponsors before the beginning of the season said, Ray, we've been spending a lot of money. We got to see some top 10s here. We got to see you do something on the track or we're going to have to pull the sponsorship money. That's probably why you're quitting, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. Stop it. Guys check this out, dude. I saw and if you're unfamiliar, if you don't know about the Confederate flag, pick up a history book. Do a little bit of reading. And I would just consider you guys to go check out an article by ESPN senior writer Ryan McGee on ESPN. This is a great, great piece. And he goes into detail on what this is and what people are not understanding. I could read the entire piece to you because it is that good. I contemplated reading the whole thing on the show, but let me give you some of this article. Ryan McGee, older white gentleman, writes, I'm a direct descendant of slave owners. My family still owns a home where my forefathers lived while the human beings they owned worked all around them. My great-great-great-grandfather and uncle were taken prisoner after fighting under that flag and were shipped off to a prison camp in Elmira, New York, a.k.a. Helmira. And when the Civil War ended, they walked home 600 miles to Rockingham, North Carolina. He continues. So yeah, spare me with the arguments about what the flag really means. I know exactly what it means. It means pain. It means anguish. It means embarrassment. It means that most of the shameful blight on the pages of history of the United States, and that's no small achievement. Even if there had ever been a stitch of honor left in that flag after the Civil War was over, that was wrung out when hate groups chose the stars and bars as their go-to banner under which they set fire to crosses, lynched black Americans, and held aloft as they stood at the doors of desegregated schools and screamed at innocent children, school books in hand, who did nothing more than be born. That's what that flag stands for. Like I said, Dale Earnhardt Sr., against the flag. And there's a great story about him in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s book that he details why they didn't like the flag. According to Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt Sr., they had people around their farm that worked. Some of them were black. he had a bumper sticker on his car that was sold in gift shops and around, and it said, born in the, or proud to be an American, Southern by the grace of God. And then it had a Confederate flag background. That was just a popular bumper sticker that was sold in the South. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had that on his car. Or Dale Earnhardt, I'm sorry, Sr. One of the people working around there talked to Dale Earnhardt Jr., and they were beloved by Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his sister Kelly. And they really loved those people that worked around and helped them around their farm. And that gentleman, that African-American gentleman, said, hey, this really pains me. You know, I don't like this. I don't like what this stands for. The next day, Dale Earnhardt went out, cut that bumper sticker off his car, just like that, and it changed his stance on everything because he didn't want anyone to feel uncomfortable no matter what. No matter what went on, he didn't want him to feel uncomfortable. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wrote in his book that came out in 2006, the rebel flag represents closed-minded, racist views that have no place in today's society. That's a direct quote from the book and his feelings on the flag. So when you come in here, please don't come in here and tell me, don't have a stance like Ray. Don't have a closed-minded stance like Ray that sounds like you've never picked up a history book in your life, that you've never tried to look back and see what things actually are. That flag was represented by people who were fighting against America just so they could keep their slaves. That's the motherfuckers that were waving that flag. And like I said, if you don't understand it, go pick up a history book. That was what they were doing. That was what they were fighting for, to keep slaves. When America was saying we're done with slavery, those people were fighting against America. Yeah. So how is that how is that a heroism?
It completely shows division.
Right.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Amongst all the other things that pains the African American culture.
So to end this, go quit, Ray. You're not any good anyway. No one gives a shit what you think. No one cares about your views or it's not racist. It is, Ray. Because of everything I just read and everything I just said. I know Ray's a big supporter of the show as well, so that one's for you, buddy.
This bud's for you, Ray.
Oh, man. I don't want to get that shit just really annoys me, bro. Really annoys me. Let's move on, Dow. The interesting stuff here some interesting stuff here. Obviously, you saw Reggie Bush.
I did.
Being reinstated. Well, on the heels of that, we have the Zion Williamson situation that's going on, and I'll detail that for everyone in a second that doesn't know. But if you don't know, Reggie Bush was suspended for taking improper benefits from USC. And not only was he, I guess it is suspended. Is it suspended? He wasn't suspended while he played, but he was basically suspended from being a part of the school.
Yeah,
What's the term?
I think they call it disassociation.
Disassociated, sorry.
Yeah, that's
what I knew I didn't have the right term there. Thank you.
Yeah,
picking me up. So Reggie Bush was disassociated from the
University
of USC, and now they're saying, hey, welcome back.
Yeah.
We're bringing you back. And this is one of the...
Cue the creed.
Right.
With arms wide open.
All open.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying USC is wrong, but the NCAA is wrong. And this is one of the many missteps the NCAA has made over the years. I mean, when we talk about the NCAA, you can go look up the amount of dumb shit that they've done throughout the years in all sports, across college basketball, football, violations that shouldn't be violations. I remember reading about the Utah head basketball coach. At one point, he had a player that had a family member pass away, and he had to fly back to LA from Utah to go to the funeral. And the head coach took him out to lunch to console him, just to kind of, before he left on the flight. NCAA got wind of that, came through and cracked him with some violations.
Jeez.
Fines, overtaking a player to lunch. That's the stuff. This is the kind of shit that the NCAA is focused on, and the NCAA gets it way wrong more than they get it right. Like I said, you can go look it up. So on the heels of this Reggie Bush situation, now the Zion Williamson information is kind of coming out, and this lawsuit he filed a lawsuit last summer. Are you up on all the Zion shit?
A little bit, yeah, for sure.
So or sorry, do you have anything to hit on with the Reggie Bush really quick before I move on to Zion?
No, I think you're right, man. I think the only other thing, obviously, he's trying to get his Heisman back as well, on top of this disassociation, which I think he's rightfully deserving of. So if they're going to open their arms wide open back to him and say, hey, you're part of our alumni now, you're a winner, getting that Heisman Trophy when he played for USC should be a no-brainer to me.
You think he gets it back?
Yes, I eventually think he does.
You think that USC petitions on his behalf?
I think they need to
get that trophy back, because they're not the ones that made him turn in the trophy.
Right. I think that's the only way. He has to have support, and I think USC backing him to get the trophy back makes it all good. And I think if they say they have arms wide open like they say they do now, welcome back, we want you to do this and that, and Reggie right now is really focused on kids, like younger kids. I don't know if you know that, with the younger generation, trying to help them not make not even the mistakes that Reggie made, but just trying to keep them on the right path. That's what Reggie's about now, which is really cool. But obviously getting the trophy back, I think if USC does back him the way they say they are and are going to now, yeah, I think he gets his trophy back, and I think deservedly so.
So I don't know, dude. I'm 50-50. I don't know if they're going to give it back to him. I have no idea where that's going to go. I remember that Reggie Bush drug his feet when sending it back. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
He took forever to send that thing back. Dude, They hit him up multiple times, like, hey, we're still waiting on the trophy. We're still waiting on the trophy. They sent him this case that to put it in to protect it. I guess they send them in these cases. They sent him a case saying, yo, just throw it in here.
Sorry, it got lost. I don't know.
He didn't have it at his house. It was at like essentially like, they have the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame. It was at like a smaller like Hall of Fame there.
Like maybe where he was from?
Okay, exactly. And dude, it was taken off the mantle and it was found underneath one of the staffers' desks, just chilling there. So yeah, that before it got sent back. So I don't know, dude. I think they may drag their feet in getting it back to him. But the Zion Williamson situation, this is heating up.
Yes.
And the Reggie Bush, this kind of ties in here because Zion is being accused of taking improper benefits from Duke. And here's kind of the story. So Williamson actually sued his marketing company last summer.
Right.
He sued them first, and now they are countersuing Williamson. So he left a 5-year deal with Gina Ford's Prime Marketing Sports Group a month after signing it. He then sued the agency, Zion. This is last summer. He sued the agency, claiming that the contract was illegal under North Carolina agent laws in place to protect amateur athletes. So he's saying they did wrong. Even though he signed the deal, Zion's saying that they did wrong by him. The lawsuit against Williamson seeks to prove that he wasn't eligible to play at Duke to begin with and therefore not protected by the law. So now that's what they're countersuing him. So they're saying what he sued him for, it doesn't even matter because he took all these improper benefits and he shouldn't even be allowed to play at Duke anyway. He shouldn't even have been a college athlete. So that's kind of the rundown for you guys. That's kind of the story on both sides. Now, here's all the details. Gina Ford also offers evidence into wiretapped conversations with Merle Code and Kansas assistant coach Curtis Townsend regarding monies being offered to Zion to attend KU. Judge Kaplan, so that right there kind of tells you there's something fishy going on. You're telling me that he's having conversations with other universities, assistant coaches at other universities. Hey, what's it going to take for Zion to come here? Or his parents or whoever is on his behalf. They're having conversations with other universities, and you're telling me Duke just said he just went to Duke for nothing?
Yeah, right.
They didn't have to pay anything.
Oh, they had to come to the table.
They didn't have to give him anything. So I think we all can agree Zion's probably guilty here. He's in hot water here. And here are some of the benefits that I don't know if you saw some of the stuff that he received, but Zion went from, let's see, here it is. Okay, his parents went from Gina Ford's attorney pointed to an improved housing situation for Williamson's parents as evidence that he was paid to attend Duke. Pre-Duke, they were in a house, $895 a month, a rental in Southern California. Once he got to Duke, All of a sudden, they go to a property that's worth $950,000 and they're paying $499,095 a month rent, basically 5 Gs.
Gotcha.
So they go from $895 a month rent to 5 Gs a month rent.
Right, and it was in South Carolina, not California.
South Carolina. I'm sorry.
Yep.
South Carolina.
Yep.
So huge difference, huge disparity there.
I also saw the legal filing also pointed out 3 luxury cars in question as well. A Mercedes-Benz wagon, a GMC Yukon, and a Cadillac Escalade, all in question as well.
Under his parents?
Yes.
So now, I don't know what his lawyer is going to be able to argue here, because how do you argue if that's in their name?
Right.
All this is hard evidence. Can you say, oh, Zion didn't know? How did he not know? You show up and see a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon outside. They go from living in an $895,000 or $895 a month rent house to this other house. You don't ask where it came from. You don't say, hey, what's up here? You guys what's up with the new digs?
Yeah.
What's up with the new whips?
Go from a $153,000 house to a $950,000 house. Almost a cool meal.
So it just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It looks really, really bad for him. They also, according to Daniel Wallach of The Athletic, he's the one that kind of is heading up this story and breaking all the evidence. And Gina Ford says she has information in public records about Zion receiving monies, benefits, and prohibited benefits that should be considered by the NC federal court, negating his status as a student athlete. Public record of the evidence relies on Williamson's eligibility as a student athlete, and she exhibits conversations that he had with text messages between him and Nike officials to discuss payments in 2017. So she's digging out everything to try to bury this cat. The only statement from Williamson's lawyer so far, they then, on June 2nd, they filed a motion to try to block, because she wants Williamson to have to be on the stand.
Oh, really?
And have to answer questions under oath as far as receiving improper benefits, as well as Mike Krzyzewski, Duke head coach. So she wants both of them on the stand about this whole thing. And Williamson's attorney, Jeffrey Klein, called the filing a shameful attempt to distract from their admitted violations of North Carolina law. That's the statement that he came out with so far. Like I said, I don't really know what legs they have to stand on there. Yeah, you can fight that. You can say, not look at all the stuff that they're pointing out here and try to fight the fact that they conned a young amateur athlete into signing a deal which he shouldn't have been able to sign.
That's what I was going to ask you. So I had 2 questions about that. So the first question being, how much trouble can Zion really get? He's in the NBA. He's under contract with the Pelicans, and he has that already going on.
Right.
Isn't this Duke? And shouldn't Duke and the recruiting process and Coach K, shouldn't they kind of take the bearing of this? And the other question is, if Zion wouldn't have started this lawsuit a year ago or whatever, would this have even boiled over to what it is today? Did he kind of get this going by him suing first?
Absolutely, dude. It's the same thing. Reggie Bush did the exact same thing. He didn't pay his agency, and Zion didn't fulfill his contract with this agency.
With Prime.
And the fact that he sued them first to get out of that contract so he could jump into another contract with CAA, his current agency.
Yep.
Absolutely. He's the one that spawned this off. He's the one that started the whole thing.
Right.
Because now they already knew about the improper benefits and all the shit that he was getting and what he was doing. And they were going to keep it hush because he was with them.
Sure.
So he decided to jump off the ship and sue them. Now, all of a sudden, they're unleashing everything.
Yeah, right.
They're coming out with hammers.
We got the ammo now.
Yeah, they're dropping it on him. So it's very similar to that Reggie Bush situation and why he got caught in the first place as well. It was all the agency that outed him. It wasn't that the NCAA did this great investigation and found all this shit. Someone outed him.
Sure.
Same situation.
So what happens to Zion? Really nothing. If he goes on trial, it's mostly like Duke getting the barrage of the punishment, I would think, right? Duke's dirty.
It's really weird because you think about all these situations and, dude, the only head coach, all these head coaches, it seems like if just get off. They just keep moving. Yeah. They just, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on.
Rick Pitino.
That's the only guy.
Rick Pitino is the only one I can think of.
The only cat that went down. Yeah. They took him down. He was like the poster boy.
Jim Boeheim had an issue. Boeheim, sorry, Boeheim.
Yeah.
But Rick Pitino is the only one that I can really think of in the last 30 years, 40, right? Like our existence that really got flamed.
Right. It's interesting. And I think if this is John Calipari, you'd be same thing. You'd be having all this, because everyone hates him anyway from all the one and dones and everything that they do over there at Kentucky. But if you're Coach Krzyzewski, same thing. There's no way you do not know that this stuff is going on. You can't have your ear to the entire program, know your players that well, know what's going on in the program, but this part's shut off and you don't know what's going on. It's just not possible. There's no point to lie. There's no point to do any of that shit. It's not possible. Zion, like I said, he filed a motion to block the ability to have this whole thing continue. And a Florida judge denied the NBA rookie his attempt to block the former marketing agent's effort to have the ex-Duke star answer questions that he received proper benefits. So they are letting it continue.
He should have went to my alumni, KU. He should have just went there because Bill Self he's untouchable. Like, they just had an Adidas scandal where Adidas was paying more money to the players. Yeah, what was that? I
forgot about that.
I think it was just Adidas was paying players, essentially, and paying for a lot of things within the organization. Bill Self, it came to news for about 2 or 3 days, and it went away. Just like that. You know what I mean? And then they probably, KU would have finally got their damn chip. As Chase said in there, for sure. If he would have went to KU, they would have got that damn chip.
In the chat, Adam Eby, the way you argue it is by taking a loan off the insurance that he took out on himself and the parents as beneficiaries. Eesh, dude. I mean, the evidence is pretty damning, though. And then you're putting that kid on the stand? Yeah.
What does this do for Zion in the playoffs with the 22-team regiment that they're trying to push now in Florida?
I don't think it has anything to do with it.
You don't think it has anything to do with that?
I don't. They're too far. I think that's what Zion thinks, too, is it's too far gone.
Yeah.
And obviously that's, a lot of the cats that are one and done, they're one and done because number one, they have the talent. Number two, they know they're doing something wrong. They know they're taking all these improper benefits. And there's a lot of players. There's low-level football players, high-level football players, basketball players. There's a lot of players that are getting these benefits. And there's a bag man. There's somebody that is willing to do this for the university. They're off the books. They're paid under the table. They go negotiate and pull all these strings behind the scenes, and they go lease the car. They go handle this. I don't know why. Right. This was just poorly done by his people. Why are you putting 3 luxury whips in his parents' name? If you're going to have 3 luxury whips, have them in someone else's name. Have them in the fall. You have a fall guy. Chris Carter. Remember that classic line Chris Carter said? You got to have a fall guy.
I have 2 best friends. Put them under their names.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. It just seems stupid the way they did it. But you know what it looks like is like, hey, I'm Zion. I'm the best thing the college basketball seen in a long time. Is what it is.
There's some ego.
Forget it.
Definitely.
Doesn't even matter. You remember?
That sounds like that guy that was that football player that was gambling. That put professional athlete or professional football player at Caesars.
That was classic. I got to run that back. I got to pull that up. Maybe I'll do that for a Throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
That was a funny story. Dude was a professional football player. And he went in to Caesar Sportsbook, set up a Caesar Sportsbook account, and as his occupation wrote professional football player and then proceeded to gamble on NFL games. Unbelievably stupid. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Hey, when you got so much power and you got that ego, I'm the best thing since sliced bread, which Josh Shaw versus Zion, really no comparison there, but, of abilities, but yeah, it's ego.
Let's move really quickly to the NBA. I want to ask you, do you think it's now, it looks like for sure the first sports league outside of NASCAR and UFC to be back, the first of the major sports, was going to be NBA. It looked like they were set to go July 31st. They got the bubble, they're going to the sports complex, da-da-da-da. Now all of a sudden, NBA players are getting cold feet. The MLB negotiations are breaking down. So I'll ask you, who do you think who's going to be back first with this shit?
Oh, man.
NBA or MLB, and then let's go into the NBA stuff and what's going on there.
So I think NBA is going to be back first. I really do. And I think it's because it's dealing with, a lot of outside causes. Whereas MLB is the players want to be paid and they want a certain salary. They want most of their money. And I can't blame them for that. But I also can't blame the MLB for saying, well, this is a shorter time frame. Like, we're trying to make this make sense. Like, we need you guys to understand. We need some understanding here from you players. And they're not taking that stance. They're very, very against that stance. We want our money, and we're not playing until we get our money kind of thing. And I think that's probably a little bit more
harder to work out.
Harder to decipher a solution with that. Whereas the NBA, it's the amount of cases, what's happening in Florida.
It's more about the virus, right?
It's more about the virus, dude, and timing.
MLB is nothing with the virus. They just can't decide on revenue splits.
Well, and as John King says, man, cases are out of control yet again in Florida. This is where they're going. And that's one of the states that has a tremendous hot spot, right? Because they've been very aggressive with their openings, and no wonder. But I think, man, this time frame may just be pushed back, and it may get pushed back again. And then by that time, they've got to get ready for the next season. You might see something like that with the NBA. I think that's my concern, is just because of the virus and the stipulations around getting the housing, who can visit, who can't. Dude, we were just talking about it a little earlier. The new sanctions with the media and what they have to kind of follow with this whole thing. But yeah, we can go into that.
Adrian Wojnarowski was tweeting it out. He was saying, all the stuff that the players are concerned with. There's also concerns with the media, because the media is going to have to be put in this bubble as well. And now they're saying, hey, if the media leaves, there's so many concerns. Right. Let's start with that. If the media leaves, they can't come back in. So how do they do that? What are they supposed to do with their families? They're just not supposed to see their families for the same months on end.
Yeah, 2 or 3 months, whatever it is.
Right. So they're stuck in this whole thing there. The families, all that whole thing becomes a concern. Then you have injury concerns. This is stuff I didn't even think about. What if a player gets injured? What if he has to go have an MRI? What if he has to go have something? What if a bad injury happens and he has to go get that taken care of? What happens then? Is he not allowed back in, or he has to quarantine when he comes back in? Right. So that's another thing there. You have a player. We talked about it a couple shows ago, getting COVID. What if they get COVID? Where do they go? Where are they taken? And then what happens then? How do they reintegrate back to the team once they clear? Or it's a lot. It sounded like this was going to be an easy kind of thing at first, and now the complications of it, it seems like there are a lot of complications that weren't really thought about, maybe by Adam Silver or by whoever. Number two, it seems like there's a lot of players that are voicing all these new concerns, and there's players wanting to not necessarily, no one said for sure, hey, I'm backing out, I'm not doing it, but there's a lot of players getting cold feet and being
apprehensive.
Very apprehensive, especially the players, and this kind of bugs me, this kind of bothers me, I'm not going to lie. It bothers me, these players are saying that, well, we don't really have a shot for a championship. What are we going, I don't know if I want to risk myself anyway, I don't know if I want to go in there and do that. I hate the fact that they're saying we don't really have a shot for a championship, especially when they're doing this tournament style.
Yeah, 22-team tournament style.
They're trying to give everyone the best shot possible, and it just feels like you're already giving up.
Right.
People, if someone's saying that, I don't even want you on my team.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you think Jordan would have allowed that? Anybody saying that on his team?
The league is just, it's so different, bro.
Yeah, so here's a couple things that I kind of found interesting about it here. So players currently living outside the country are advised to return to their team's city on June 15th or by June 15th. Players currently in the United States should return on June 22nd. The date for international players is 1 week earlier because some states have required quarantine periods for people arriving from overseas on top of the original quarantine, right? However, Raptors and Nets players could have the option to go elsewhere ahead of time. Toronto has complications due to international travel, and Brooklyn has one of the highest coronavirus rates in the country. So the NBA is still working with those teams specifically on a place for them to all go. Under this timeline, teams would begin testing players for the coronavirus on June 23rd, likely every other day. And that's where that 150,000 plus tests come in, right?
Right.
Because they're trying to do this every other day, and then teams would then undergo a 2-week training camp. So that's kind of the timeline that was talked about yesterday on their most recent call on travelers, designated times, designated quarantines, and especially international travel. When to get to with your teams, how to get tested, quarantine specials, that kind of thing. So
crazy.
There's a lot to it, man.
Right.
This is heavy stuff, but I think it's probably more workable than a bunch of MLB players that are totally on the opposite side of what the MLB is asking.
A lot of people in the chat saying MLS. I said the 4 majors, guys.
Yeah, the 4 majors.
Stop messing around. MLS.
MLS would be a major if we were international.
I should put you guys all in timeout. I said MLS in the chat. We're talking baseball, football, basketball, hockey.
Yeah.
And hockey, crushing. Dude, have you seen how they're doing it? They just put together a tournament too. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you on on certain sports books, they're giving boosted odds. If you select like the team from your state to win it all, they'll give you like a boosted odds. I put 20 on the Avs. It's like 20 to win 320.
Avs had a great year.
Right.
Still a young team, looking tight.
Right.
It's not bad.
So that's the real first.
I'll take a free boost.
Is going to be hockey, but MLS is back July 8th. If anyone missed it,
yeah.
Because we talk a ton of MLS on the show.
Whoa, yeah!
All right, let me think. Baseball is dead. Goat James. John King said, I still stand by no NFL this year. You're crazy, my guy.
Wow.
You're crazy. The NFL out of anyone is going to push forward.
Yeah, NFL, I mean, there's so many less games, and there's going to be so much pressure on
Want to put 20 on that, John King? You want to do a little side bet? You want to do 20? You're saying no NFL altogether. I think the NFL could be delayed, but dude, that's not going on.
Yeah.
If you want to do a little side pot, let me know. If you got Venmo, 20 on it. Here you go.
All right.
Oh, man. All right, 20 on it.
John King must be worried
Put it on the board, my guy.
John King must be worried about that third wave of Corona hitting. He's like, no NFL. It's the fall. It's not good. It's winter. COVID loves winter.
Not good.
I think I don't know, dude. Yeah, what is your concern? He said no fans, no games, no nothing.
Wow.
That's nuts.
I believe no fans, for sure.
Yeah, Chris J. NFL is def happening. I'm with you, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
NFL will wear space helmets.
If they had to do that to play, they absolutely would.
Play it in space. Go Red Wings. Avs suck. Jay Nasty, come on, bro. Why are you going to ruin my day?
Yeah, Jay Nasty, what are you talking about?
Why you got to ruin my day?
Red Wings haven't been good, dude, for
Jay Nasty,
7 years.
Jay Nasty, you want to put 20 on that? Whoever goes farther in the playoffs. Red Wings or Avs? You want to go 20? You want to put your money where your mouth is, Jay Nasty?
I'll put it on our vision board.
The stock market's in the toilet, so I'm taking all other action today. Put it on the board. We got a whiteboard in the studio. I'm documenting these.
Hell yeah.
It's going up on the board,
Hell
baby.
yeah!
Jay Nasty, let me know if you want in on that. Put it on the board, he said. Let's go.
All right.
All right. It's on the board. I got 20 with King on that. I got 20 with Jay Nasty on the Avs versus the Red Wings.
Got it.
And King is no football. Good shit. All right, Dal, let's hit some UFC really quickly. The UFC pay-per-view last weekend, we don't got to go crazy, but you saw we talked the knockouts on, if you follow on Twitter, Sean Sugar O'Malley with the vicious knockout, Cody Garbrandt with the vicious knockout.
Welcome back, Cody.
And, dude, I apologize. I said on the last time we were here, I said that, hey, this is not a card I would pay for. The women are headlining it. I think the Amanda Nunes, it's always must-see TV when she fights. It's always very entertaining, but this is not a card I would have paid for. After the card, I was like, holy shit, that was a great night of fights, dude.
Might have been worth the 60.
Might have been worth it. If I didn't stream it for free, that was a great night of fights, bro.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed the card. Obviously, the two knockouts were big. Nunes, I know people were so pissed off that didn't see a finish there because they thought she was going to finish. I know so many people bet on a finish for that fight. People bet on her to finish it, and she didn't finish it. She
not
took
even
it
a
to
submission,
decision. Nothing at all. So I know people had to be angry with the way that one went down.
I think it was a better showing, not necessarily for Felicia Spencer, but I think that it really showed how durable and how, I mean, dude, she's taken some shots from Nunes, and what we've seen nobody be able to do that.
Right.
Like, nobody can take
just
those
hang
shots.
and bang, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man, I some street cred.
Shevchenko is probably the closest,
For
I would
sure.
say.
And, people are like, I think we've already seen that happen once or twice with Shevchenko. I think twice. And people are wanting it a third time. Like, I don't think Nunes has nothing to prove. She does not need to drop that weight to get on Shevchenko's level, especially after twice, dude. It doesn't need to happen. But I think we learned a lot about Felicia Spencer. I think she can sustain, and the durability of damage that she took was amazing. I mean, I think she's a force to be reckoned with against Nunes, the GOAT, the greatest of all time to do it. Get out of here.
Right.
But I learned a lot about Felicia Spencer that fight. I was impressed.
I knew she was tough, but yeah, it took toughness to a new level. Again, I think it's one of those things. Her corner should have stopped it going into the fifth. She was already tough. She was already beat up. He didn't need to push her out there. I wasn't one of the people that had a bet on finishing the fight, but I definitely would have been pushing. Hey, throw the towel in. Throw the towel in. Let's get a finish here.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's get a TKO or something.
Tough Canadian.
Yeah, but it didn't happen. I thought there were some interesting comments from Dana White after the fight on a couple different things. Let me play you some sound from Dana White here.
I think that everybody feels this right now. There's no fans, can't travel the fights around. You know, I think everybody is pissed off.
Oh, cool.
Confused.
There we go.
Nice.
You know, been locked up in their houses for 3.5 months. People are wearing masks. People are, you know, there's protests, there's riots. The list goes on and on. And I don't know. I don't, listen, if you don't think that what I'm doing right now is probably the hardest thing that I've ever done, and if you don't think that 3 times a day I throw my fucking hands up and I'm ready to say, you know what? Fuck this shit. Believe me. And the amount of people that I have gunning at me right now is insane. It's insane. But here we are. This is our what? 5th fight? We've pulled off our 5th fight. No other sports are going right now but us. And one of the beautiful things about this sport is you don't have to fight. This isn't the NBA or the NFL where you better be at practice, you better show up and do this, you better do that. You don't have to do anything here. And if these guys want to sit out and retire right now, or anybody feels uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form with what's going on, you don't have to fight. It is all good. So if that's what Conor's feeling right now, John Jones, Jorge Masvidal, you know, I feel you. It's not like I'm going, holy shit, this is crazy. This is nuts. Nothing is crazy and nuts right now because everything is crazy and nuts right now. So, on a certain level, I totally understand it.
Dude, nothing is crazy and nuts right now because everything is crazy and nuts right now. If you don't understand that,
I don't know what to tell you.
that might be one of the, dude, I got to clip that out. That might be one of the funniest things.
It almost reminds me of,
I would say.
almost reminds me of the original Batman. You know, when he's talking to Joker. You want to get nuts?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get nuts.
That might be the best impression you've done.
No way.
Dude.
Let me tell you the best impression I've ever done.
What?
I can't get kicked off the cast. I can't get kicked off the cast.
Pretty spot on.
That's my. That's,
all right, the
that's
best impression you've done that's not you.
Okay.
Because that's not really an impression.
Okay, fair enough.
That's just you. But I thought that was also interesting. Also, if you're not up on UFC, he's talking about a lot of the fighters coming out and talking about they want more money. Mm-hmm. You've seen it all week. Jorge Masvidal demanding more money. They weren't able to get the fight done. John Jones talking about giving up the light heavyweight title, not able to. Uh-oh. What is that? What'd you do? Is it too close? Oh, there we go. John Jones talking about
I'd be kicking shit. Sorry.
Giving up the title to not. It's all good. To not want to fight. Henry Cejudo retiring. Saying, and he never mentioned money, but everyone knows it's about money. So him there. Conor McGregor. That wasn't really about money per se, but interesting retirement stuff from him.
He says excitement.
His lack of excitement,
yeah,
or lack thereof,
right,
is why he kind of wants to retire. So I feel like that's interesting. Let me play this piece of sound here as well, because this makes a lot of sense to me. If I'm a business owner, if I'm Dana White, this makes sense to me, especially with John Jones and Jorge Masvidal, who he's talking about here.
And get it.
Masvidal, he spoke to ESPN earlier tonight. He said he laid out a statistic that fighters get paid 18% of the revenue generated by the UFC. Are you able to address that, whether that's accurate and whether that's a number that could change, that he's saying fighters should get more of the revenue that's generated?
Being the financial wizard that he is, I'm assuming his numbers are correct. Here's the thing about Masvidal. We just signed a new deal with Masvidal. Masvidal just signed a new 8-fight deal. He's got 7 fights left on his deal, you know? And my people were working with him and trying to get a deal done with him when he already has a deal. John Jones has like 7 fights left on his deal. He just signed a new deal less than a year ago. So guys, you can say whatever you want about it. I have a deal. We just did a deal with both guys. This isn't one of those scenarios where, like, they've got some 3-year-old deal and it's like, oh, man, that was 3 years ago. I'm in a much different place. This was months ago.
There you go. That makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
This was months ago. You just signed a new deal, Jorge, and I'm a Jorge fan. You know I'm a guy that likes Masvidal.
Love the street Jesus.
But, and dude, I get that he's been fought in the streets. I get that he's been fighting forever. He wants more. I understand all that, but that's not Dana White's fault. That's not the UFC's fault that you've been getting punched in the face for 20 years, Jorge.
Right.
And just now figured out the game, figured out the promotion game, got on the level of Conor McGregor, whatever the case may be. You and your people just negotiated a new deal, like he said, months, not years, months ago. What is the issue now? And this is where it sucks for fight fans, because I want to see Masvidal McGregor. I want to see Masvidal Usman. They got in a dust up at the Super Bowl. Remember that? Masvidal and Usman got in a dust up on Super Bowl Radio Row.
Yep.
We talked about it on the show. We played the audio. I was geeked for it. This is something I was here to see. And up to 2 days ago, UFC made one last effort to book Usman versus Masvidal as late as yesterday, but I'm told they could not come to terms with Masvidal, so they gave the title fight to Gilbert Burns at UFC 251. That's per Ariel Helwani. So we did see later that day, they came out and made the match, Gilbert Burns versus Masvidal. What do you think of that?
No, I think it's going to be great, man.
I'm sorry, Gilbert Burns versus Kamaru Usman. Don't let me disrespect Usman like that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think Gilbert Burns has obviously deserving of a title shot. I think this is a little early because I think there's other people that, are deserving as well that we maybe want to see more and that might bring more pay-per-view money. But Gilbert Burns, man, he had a hell of a last fight. I'm scared of that guy. There's no doubt about that. But no, I would have rather way have seen Masvidal and Usman. And I think Masvidal, he's always told that, like, hey, I'm fighting for myself. I'm fighting for my family. And that is it. But I have to think this is a money thing and maybe for his family. But I don't know, the ego thing just doesn't bode well with this. And I feel like it's Masvidal just being like, look, I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove to you. And it just doesn't feel good. But good for Gilbert Burns, man, to step in there and hopefully he'll do some damage. I'm not a big Usman fan. I'm just not a fanboy of Usman. I think he's a great fighter, but I'm just, I could care less. But yeah, go Gilbert.
What I thought it was interesting, you were talking about, hey, you don't know if he deserves it yet. It feels a little bit early. Check this out. Kamaru Usman comes out on Twitter and, well, actually, I don't know.